actually, yeah. Hi, Katie. Sorry, the whole team's here today. So, I'm Ben. As you look at the screen, I'm the one kind of tucked away in the corner, touching the top of an iPad at the moment. We have Kim next to me, then Craig and Phil and Kevin all the way joining us from Canada.
Yes. Hello, Kevin.
Yes.
So excellent. So you got the full 1001 up team with you.
Cool. Well, hi guys. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for joining us. Really, it's really important. And again, this is the reason we're broadcasting today is part of a charity SpecialEffect and the Gamelast marathon. And as I'm sure you're aware, what the charity do is it tries to help physically disabled kids and grown-ups actually play and enjoy computer games.
I've read a little bit about it. It's definitely
brilliant. So
good cause.
Again, you're not just helping us out; you're helping them out as well, which is fantastic. Yeah. Right, I'll hand over to Phil.
So I'm going to get started. I've never played this. This is new to me. We have Kim who's played
cool.
it. So
Kim's our expert, so she's going to.
Kevin's played it as well.
Kevin as well.
Kim and I were the adventure experts. So Phil is a bit of a newbie when it comes to adventure games.
So what? Sorry.
You enjoy it. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask what inspired this. Why did you decide to make the game? What's the?
Sort of interesting story how this one started up. About a couple years back, we were working on the Silver Lining, which is our King's Quest fan game that we made.
I'm doing what I can.
And we were looking to start getting into commercial games, and at E3, another company that owned some art assets for a game that they had started, but it never really went anywhere, approached us about using those to create a new story entirely. Mm-hmm. So myself and Cesar, who's our CEO and the other co-designer on this game, kind of looked at the really cool art that they had, and a lot of these screens are basically reused and just sort of touched up to fit what our storyline was, like a lot of these panels you're seeing here. Came up with a new story to fit all of that that was original.
Oh, brilliant! And so Erica Reed is a character that was designed and kind of created for this game.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they had the only things that were kind of set that we kept were her name and her general look, and that she was in law enforcement. Okay. And we just kind of worked with that.
No, that's good.
I think one of the things that we've actually grown to like about Erica, or for me personally as a female gamer, is that, I mean, she's obviously quite an attractive woman, but she doesn't necessarily use that. So she's actually quite savvy and quite independent.
Yeah, I that's one of the things I like the most about her too, because I mean, we both liked, that she's attractive, but it's not, like she's wearing a suit the whole time. It's not like, well, I'm gonna get things done because I'm dressed in some ridiculous way or anything like that. And I'm a big fan of having female characters who are strong in that way and aren't our characters, not just images.
Objects, yeah. Well, that's good. Again, we're all big supporters of that. This is the first time I've seen it running, and I really like the kind of graphical style that's going on at the moment. It's kind of, it's almost like a 3D comic book. If you'll excuse,
that was kind of the going idea with it. Those original designs that I talked about were done by Romano Molinar, who's a graphic novel artist. He's worked on like X-Men and Batman and Birds of Prey and a lot of other big comic names.
Yeah, very high profile stuff.
Yeah.
Those are nice credits to have.
Yeah, they are. Yes. So he's the art director for the game and definitely set the look that we had here, and we felt it fit really well with the kind of story we were telling. Having this really cool, moody, atmospheric look was great, and our artists on our team did a fantastic job of really settling into that and making some great original stuff that was in the same design.
No, we won't have time.
Right. So what do you? So Phil, do you want to just chat us through what you're doing at the moment?
Yes, the first things. I'm not the best at these, but when it's very clear about what isn't interactable, it's fair enough. So it's easier. So I've got to find a key at first.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. No, sorry. Thank you, Kim. I was paying attention. I don't need to. Need to go to the east entrance.
East entrance.
My bad. I think I've tried this.
You feel you're where you need to be.
I can't open it with my hands, and
Do you have any tips from Katie?
I
Because
can give hints
he's having
anytime
a
you
bit of
want
trouble
to,
here.
so.
You have something you can use.
Oh, check the
Oh.
inventory.
I
There
never
we
think of
go.
that. I never think of that. Yeah. Oh, why do I know this? This is like. I mean, Half-Life did this. This puzzle. Okay, bear with me.
Right. I'm not quite sure if these guys know, but Jane Jensen was actually brought in as a story consultant on this game. So how is it working with her?
It was great. And she, for this, she was our story consultant. So, we kind of went through, she saw the story outlines and would do an editing pass on the scripts and everything. It was particularly great because she gave us some very good advice. But, she was very, mostly hands-off with the story. She was letting us, create the game that we wanted to create at the same time. So it was very good, I think, balance for us to make sure it was still our game, but she was helping us, to kind of streamline the story and giving some good tips here and there on some of the lines and whatnot. And we've been working with her more on Mobius, which is her new game that's going to be coming out in April.
Oh, look, just in time for my birthday.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
On the list.
Come on, Lucy, guys.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been, it's been great working with her, and I'm glad, very glad we've been able to extend that beyond just Cognition.
My intuition.
Okay.
So how big was the team that worked on this game?
The team's about between 20 and 30 people. Most people are full time. There were some part timers on this as well. But yeah, and we're spread out all over the world. Actually, we don't have a physical office. We're a completely online studio.
Oh, great.
So, as we say, Skype is our office. Actually, some of our team members are in the chat over here. Wilco is Weldon, who is our lead programmer. And Indy is Dan Long, who is one of our animators, and he's now a Twitch streamer of some repute.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did it take to kind of go from starting? I mean, obviously you had some of the assets in place already, but from kind of really starting work to getting it released or published?
About a year. We started working on the story outline in the summer of 2011, and then we did a Kickstarter in over November of that year.
Yeah.
And then basically in 2012 was when everyone started working full time.
Brilliant.
On it. And then the first episode released in late October of 2012, and then took about a year to get all 4 episodes out. The last one released this past September.
Fantastic. Here we go.
Right.
So is this like a vision of what the guy did? Is this what we're...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so this is Erica discovering her powers now. Well, I mean, she discovered them. You're discovering them now.
Yeah.
She already knew.
I'm actually
This is
really
her
enjoying it,
post-cognition.
yeah.
She touches things, and you get to see visions of the past to help give you clues about what's going on.
Yeah, the other thing I kind of like about this is that even though she has these powers, she doesn't always use them to solve puzzles. Because obviously, if you have powers like this, it could be really easy just to go in and that's all you expect. But it's not. It's much more clever than that.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, that was another thing that we wanted to do. Like, okay, you can see the past, but that doesn't mean you're going to be able to just, we want to make sure you didn't have all the answers just because you could do that.
Of course.
which is why things are kind of limited to like what happened to this object or in this place or at this particular time, but you don't necessarily get the full context.
Yeah, like, the other thing that I really enjoyed was the fact that she kind of struggled to accept her powers as well.
Yeah, it was one of the things we were thinking about. Was she's a very practical person. She's you'll meet someone fairly soonish in here. Her mentor Rose, who's clearly much more in touch with like spiritual things and so forth, and Eric is just not that person at all. So it's that, and also thinking like, okay, if you have this power to see things from the past and you're an FBI agent, like that's gonna be really handy, but if you can't control it, that's gonna make things weird. It's like, you go to shake someone's hand and it's like, oh, now I'm seeing this fight you had with your wife. That's awkward.
And there's
things like that.
Phil is almost at a really clever part of the game, so we'll get there. I'll explain.
Right, well, in the meantime, then I'll compliment you on the really clean interface. I do. I just like the way the inventory's kind of tucked away nicely to the side. You've got the kind of faded icons in the top left, and is that the switching between the kind of psychic world and the normal world button in the bottom right?
Yeah.
It just means all your attention is on the screen and the art and what's going on, rather than being cluttered up by kind of glancing left and right at the kind of health bars. I appreciate they're not used in this game, but that sort of thing. And no, again, for me, it's a really clever and bit of design, and it works well. And of course, and the comic book bits that pop up at the bottom, I like that. You got the right text; it's in the right box. And
we were glad to get a really good comic-looking font. For that, and thank you. There was at different times, because her powers expand later, we had like a much larger interface in the corner for that, and then we were just like, this is way too big. It's it's gonna be too much clicking and everything. And even as it is, we're in thinking about doing more with Erica Reed, we're like, all right, maybe we'll have to still find a way to even simplify this interface a little more for some things. But cool. I'm glad to know you're enjoying it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fine.
Yeah, there's that too. If you're ever really stuck, you can hit the space bar and you just get all the hotspots that are on the screen. All their labels will pop up.
Okay, that's good to know.
Seafood didn't know that.
That's a technique that's used in some of the iPad kind of point and click conversions as well. Forgive me if you are you planning on converting this to tablets or?
Well, we actually have episodes 1 and 2 are on iPad now, and we're
oh, brilliant! That's it. That is superb. Right, I'm downloading those. Well, at home, I have a couple of kids running around, and my PC gaming's quite difficult to do. But my iPad, yes.
Yeah, you need.
Here it is.
To go big.
App Store once today's over. Keep me quiet on the train for a bit.
I think you'll be able to use one of them. I think.
You also mentioned Kickstarter. Did you find that whole process very challenging?
Challenging and exciting. I mean, it's interesting because we, as I always put it, we Kickstarted before it was cool, before Tim Schafer got in on that. But I feel like it was very different then than it is now because of that. We raised, we had a goal of 25,000 and we raised 34. And and for a couple months we were in the top 10 most funded games, which now if a game gets 34,000, it's that's just kid change or something. But I feel like the Kickstarter now probably takes even more work than we had put into it. When we first did this, we didn't have a demo. We didn't do as many updates as kind of projects are expected to do now. The concept of stretch goals was not really as sophisticated as it's become. Yeah.
Would you consider going for another one again in the future?
Would you consider doing a Kickstarter in the future?
Yeah.
We are definitely considering it as we're looking into, what our next projects will be as far as development. Right now we're focused on finishing up Mobius with Jane Jensen, and as we just announced this week, our new publishing branch, so we've got a lot of games in there that we're putting out.
So I guess that means that you're pretty busy at the moment.
Yes, it has been a very busy few months gearing up everything. We're also working with her in her studio on the remake of Gabriel Knight too, which
I'm
very
so excited about that. It's one of my favourite games.
Yeah, that one's yeah, it's a great one. It's kind of funny because back when we knew it was what was being worked on. She in her Kickstarter it was just referred to as Mystery Game X. So before it was announced, I remember there was a article in Game Informer talking about older games that should really get ports to the iPad, and that was one of them. It's like, can't talk about it, but it's good to know people apparently are also thinking about it.
That's good.
It feels fun he managed to figure this bit out.
He's got the shovel. He's got the shovel.
There you go.
I like all these different camera angles. It's really good when she's kind of grabbing stuff rather than just reaching up and pulling it off.
That helps in the point it eventually came out.
We love doing cinematic styles when we can.
But to me, that's quite an important thing about a story-based game. You have to really do everything you can to engage the gamer, the viewer, the player, however you want to phrase it.
Yeah.
Especially in the modern world.
My fellow designer and our CEO, Cesar, he actually studied film in college, so he is very big on having very cinematic angles. And our Mikhail, who is our video editor, put together all the cutscenes, the motion in them and everything and the timing. He does an amazing job of making those just really interesting as well. He also does all of our trailers, so you can see his work there too.
He's just digging.
He's getting there.
He's getting there.
That's fine. I think I know what's doing next.
Phil's getting the hang of it.
All right.
I think Phil's going to be hooked by the end of this.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm not even playing, and I'm hooked.
Excellent.
Yes. This is great.
That's what I like to hear.
The gameplay is smooth. That's not really nice.
Yeah.
Everything's smooth. The interface responds quickly. It's quick to do things as well, especially if you have to repeat actions. It's always a pain when you've got to wait a while, but this is really smooth. I like it.
Yeah, it's entertaining to watch, which is always helpful.
It's a modern crime thriller.
Now you can use the shovel. He's here.
Oh, Mama do.
Here we go.
Oh, hey.
There you go.
You got that one quick.
Yeah. What are we going to find?
Oh no, I have to give it.
No.
To him.
Is this the? Got to give it to
him. Yeah.
Trying really hard not to jump in.
Try and jump in.
I'm like, don't say what to do.
Yeah.
I know there's something here.
He's thinking.
John, this isn't funny.
No, John, it's not funny. This is serious.
Yes.
It's business.
Yeah.
Brother's life is on the line. Very serious business.
Alright, we're
There you
doing.
go. Good man.
Right, finally.
We're in. What are we going to discover? Well, the tension's killing me. Really.
No, there's just one bit that I want Phil to get to because I know that Ben's gonna love it.
Oh, I know.
Oh, cool.
I always love seeing people play the part that I know you're talking about.
I'm on tenterhooks.
Yeah.
What is this thing for? Why was he hiding?
Could he possibly be hiding? I know publishers. Well, I say publishers. Sony obviously are very keen to get as much on the PlayStation 4 as they can, and Microsoft as well with the Xbox One. Are you? Have you been approached to move this across to there as well, or is it an avenue?
We were interested in doing that, and we're. I don't remember which ones exactly. I know we've kind of looked into and requested dev kits on some different consoles. Although we don't have them quite yet, but we are interested in trying to get this and other games onto consoles. obviously would involve some retooling of how the interface works exactly. But we did build this in Unity, which makes porting to other systems really easy, which is awesome.
Yeah, Unity's doing quite well at the moment.
Yeah, Unity. It's just been put onto the Vita, hasn't it? And,
Has it? Oh, right.
yeah. Well, I think they're about to release Unity for the Vita.
It's good for indies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got some. Yeah, it's been a great one for indies, I know. And there's I think Xbox One has a deal set up with Unity to kind of make it very easy. Yeah, it says, as Weldon, our programmer in the chat, is pointing out, it's kind of most tricky is going from keyboard, mouse, or touch controls to a PS4 or Xbox One controller. It's just very different.
Yeah, no, I could imagine it is.
No, just that's it.
Actually, from a publisher point of view, I think Quest for Infamy should be really well on console.
Come on, Erica, think.
Yeah. Another one. They use the. I believe they are using the adventure game studio engine for theirs. It's kind of what people usually use for the old school ones.
Okay.
You guys must be really excited about the.
Yeah. No, we're definitely very excited about publishing. Got a lot of really cool games that.
This is where it's
I think people are definitely going to enjoy. I mean, there's Mobius, obviously. Quest for Infamy, which is another sort of retro-looking, inspired by Quest for Infamy.
The thing I love about this bit is the fact that they make you turn the wheel yourself. It's just you sit there squirming, knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not taking that chance.
Step off that crazy thing.
Yeah, this one's.
Stay right there.
Whoa! Here we go.
We always. Oh, there you go. Yep. Yeah, it's always. I love watching this scene and seeing people's faces. I'm like, oh my god.
Can't think of it.
Yeah, this was one. Originally, this entire thing was actually a cutscene, but then Cesar was like, no, let's make people go through this.
Yeah.
Actually, really involve them in the process. Which some of this kind of gameplay is especially inspired by the kind of gameplay they had in Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have played that, and so I won't try to spoil anything, but suffice to say, there are things you have to choose to do as the player. That's just it's brutal to do it, and you're like, oh god, but I have to.
Yeah, but
this is awful.
I'm with Craig on this. It's absolutely the right decision.
It is.
Because it's the player responsibility thing. Because I've clicked it. I know it just happens automatically, but you're right. You are making the choice to do this to your character.
It adds more tension to an already tense situation, Oh,
that's right. Yeah, keep turning.
Yep.
Feel the pain, Phil. This is you, Phil.
Not there yet. Oh, here it comes. Oh god. By the way,
it's good that
we got that set up with like the blood splash.
Yeah.
I think it's important as well, just for gaming as a medium, to have these sort of kind of adult themes and decisions, and not shy away from them, and realise that the market isn't just sweaty teenagers, for lack of a better phrase. It's so broad.
My mother actually ended up playing the final part of Cognition with me over Christmas, and she loved it.
Oh, great! Awesome.
But yeah, this sort of stuff is great. It's properly right up my alley. Yep, sold. There you go.
Sold. One new customer.
Yeah. Check the UK App Store by the end of today, and one extra sale.
And right now we're coming up to one of my favorite puzzles in the game.
Oh, okay. I better do well then.
Oh, yeah.
No pressure.
And this one, I just thought this one was so clever.
Yeah. We had fun designing puzzles around her powers, I'll just say that, as you get down there.
So, why was the decision to release over 4 chapters made rather than maybe just a single game?
So we had done that with The Silver Lining, which was interesting because it wasn't originally an episodic game, but we split it into 5 episodes. 4 of them are out now, and we're steadily working away on the 5th one. And Cesar also used to work at Telltale, so he'd seen the episodic model in action and how it worked really well for them. So we were very interested in that, and as writers, we liked it because it's a nice way to kind of like first of all your sales from the earlier episodes can support development for the later ones, which helps. And it's just it was a nice way to set up like the story arcs. You can have like smaller arcs going on within each episode, but then a larger one that covers the whole game. And you get to have, a lot of different cliffhangers and intense moments throughout. So we kind of, and also it was definitely the style and mood and everything are very inspired by a lot of TV shows that we both liked, like Dexter and Fringe and so forth. So kind of having that sort of like television-esque feel to it.
No, I like it. I think I'm quite a staunch fan of the concept of episodic. Again, for numerous reasons, it spreads out the cost for as a consumer as well. Rather having to fork out everything in one big hit, you can spread it out, especially in the current world we live in. But more importantly, I think it allows developers, game designers, publishers to tell the story that they want to tell. I see a lot of press, even big things like, Metal Gear Solid at the moment is getting a lot of flack with Ground Zeroes only a couple of hours long, and I just think, well, if that's the story they want to tell, and it's only going to take them a couple of hours to do it, that's what they want to tell. You can't criticise them for that, and I believe very strongly that this is, if this is the right, if this is your intention in your design, then you should absolutely do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, kind of interesting. That was definitely one of the lessons that we got that Jane mentioned. We had, some different storylines tossed around, and that we were going to use more than one. The first time, in our first draft, I had a lot of different plots going on, and she kind of recommended, like, well, just pick one of these and focus on it. So we went with Erica's powers, because that's the thing you can carry over for, other games if you make them, which we are planning to do. We did notice in episode 1, actually, some feedback we had was that some of the puzzles seemed to kind of meander a little bit, so we took that note to heart, and another bonus of it being episodic, we could take that feedback and use it for the later episodes. We're like, all right, so, don't try to extend a puzzle just to have a puzzle there. Like, if it's not adding to the story or adding to the characters, like, it doesn't need to be there. And I think that helped a lot in kind of narrowing it down. But yeah, I mean, if a story you want to tell with a game is only a few hours long, certainly there's nothing wrong with that. Right. Hopefully it's, priced accordingly, which can be a bigger point of contention, because even those take a lot to make. But no one wants to pay $60 for a game that's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I think if the design is for the game to be 3 hours long and the price is set at $6,
that's perfect.
That's the price the game has to be for you to experience it. But I know I'm potentially in the minority of the world market on that one. But
I mean, the other advice I would give about having episodic games is it is nice that it can space it out. So like as you said, the earlier sales of earlier episodes can support the later ones, but developers should always have a good plan to make sure that they can finish things. Because you hate to be, get halfway through and then it's like, well, we kind of ran out of everything, so that sucks for everybody.
Who's doing well so far?
So I'm playing through the first puzzle, cutting wires, and thanks to her special power, I can tell. Got the gist of it.
So far, so good.
Yeah, got the gist of it, and it's actually very interesting. Yeah, very interesting puzzle. Oh,
that is why I like it so much.
Because you're viewing things backwards, effectively.
Yeah. Oh god.
How did you come up with this puzzle then?
So the red one has just been put back in. Yeah, so
that's the last one.
Yeah,
going backwards.
Is the red? Wow. The red?
Yeah, it's the red.
Yeah.
Then
cut the red wire.
Yeah, but now which one?
Cut the red wire. Soon find out. Right, it's got to be.
Well,
which is
here we go.
So it's not that one. It's
so it's orange next, then green last.
Ooh. Orange, green last.
Yeah.
It seemed like a daunting task, but a few minds to it.
Yeah,
figure it out.
No, you've done well.
Yep. I will say there is actually a 2 variations on how the scene goes, depending on how this puzzle goes.
Ah.
All right. Funny enough, you just almost preempted the question I was going to ask. So what if we deliberately got this the wrong way around? What would happen? Would the game end, or would brother die?
No, it wouldn't be a game over.
Yeah.
There is there are slight variations on how the first act here ends, depending on how you do on this puzzle.
That's good. I like that. I like that idea as well.
I tried to have some small branching points like that. So overall, the story and the decisions are, like you end up in the same place in the game, but we wanted to have at least some like contained branches so you could see some variations on stuff. Nope, didn't got it.
Nope. No. Missed.
Yes.
Missed. Retry.
Thrown it to the right a bit, maybe. I'd like to tell you how we got the opportunity to make the shot at the padlock. That's obviously Walking Dead did a bit of that as well for shooting zombies and stuff. So I'd be interested to see myself if they'll get a bit more of that later on. Possibly.
Ooh.
Oh, that's not a good idea, is it?
No.
That's good.
So we got this far. He's got her gun. Yeah.
Wondering if I don't.
Can you try and kick his gun? What about the curtain? Pull the curtain over him so he can't see you.
Can't see me, can't shoot me.
There you go.
Now put the fire on him.
Can't see
now
me,
burn him. Yes. That's right. Get the bloodlust going. You burn him.
There you go. Fantastic.
It was like we managed to make that icon a fist. It's like, kick his ass.
I do love these comic book windows that have come up. I really do like them.
Very good. Yeah, I think we can get a few more sales about this now.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just painful.
I like that she's not magically healed either, and she's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clearly, there was a lot of adrenaline getting her through this.
Yeah. But she is injured. It's those extra touches that appeal to me.
Yeah.
I love that the animators did a great job kind of giving her that injured walking cycle for this scene, so you can really tell.
Actually, it helps a lot,
Right, I'm expecting some tears now, people.
I hope the police don't shoot them now. I mean, that's gonna be a really hard ending. Oh no!
That would just be harsh.
I've just saved you. Don't die, Scott.
Don't need them to be sad.
I'm willing.
Well, it's doing quite well, because most of that you get scenes like this and it's all a bit cheesy like the films. No, this is well done.
No, it is. Sorry, I genuinely didn't mean to make light of it. It is really impressive.
No, it's done well, because you don't want the typical Scott.
That's
too much. And it's just
realistic.
It's the shouting the name. It's the hands in the air. No, like they do in films. It's horrible. But this is a bit more realistic, so it's much better.
Yeah, there you go.
Remember, you solved the wire puzzle, so this is the good ending.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, quick, retry. Let's find the bad ending.
Unfortunately, we're really good people. We wouldn't want to force people.
How did you cast the voices for this?
So the voice of Erica is actually Riley Holmes, who is Jane Jensen's stepdaughter. So yeah, and we didn't like plan that ahead of time, but then we found she sings with the band the Scarlet Furies, and she's also an actress, so we happened, we saw her demo reel online, and both Cesar and I were both like, yes, this is pretty. She's has the exact voice that we've been thinking about and talking about for Erica. So that was how we got her cast. And then the others, for the most part, we got through an in-person audition that Cesar and our voiceover director, Michael Fortunato, did out in California, which is where the majority of the other ones came from.
So is this setting up the next episode now?
No, that was just the first part of this episode.
Oh, first part. Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Good. I was kind of, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought, I was thinking, oh, it's ended a bit too soon.
And here we are 3 years later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, Phil's got the second episode lined up as well, so it's fine.
By the time you find him, you won't.
So how long is each episode generally?
They vary. The first one's definitely the longest. I'd say that one.
Yeah.
First one's about 6 to 8 hours, depending on how long you take with it. The other ones are about more like 4 to 6. Maybe like the last episode is definitely the shortest, because at that point it was kind of just like everything's come together, so it's a lot of action. Going from one thing to the next to the next. So that one is maybe 3 hours on the fast end.
Okay.
So.
But as soon as it's all action, you can't really complain.
Yeah. Yeah. And action in the sense of, things are very intense, not like you're doing action stuff. It's still an adventure game.
That's it.
You can have it.
Come on, Skippy. Davies will have our
We do have a few sequences here and there that are kind of like the that fight with the can killer that we had, where it's sort of, getting through it that way instead of.
Let's go.
That was kind of one of the challenges we had. We're like, okay, she's an FBI agent, so she's got a badge and a gun. We still need to make things difficult for her.
Yeah,
however.
of course.
Cool. Where are we going to go, Phil?
We're going to go downtown.
Or to the crime scene?
Or to the crime scene. Where are we going?
Ah.
I always love the rapport that Erica and John had, considering their voice actors, they never met. They were never recording at the same time, but they still managed to have just like this really good chemistry despite that.
Yeah.
Looks like regular police work to me.
Beats me. Davies requested it.
So, how much investigation do you have to do to get authenticity, or?
Oh, sorry, hold on. We've just had a question on chat. Someone wants to know what Katie worked on specifically.
Sure. I saw someone asking that. So yes, I'm Katie Hallahan. Hi. I'm one of the designers. So I did writing, the dialogue, planning puzzles and whatnot, and editing passes and so forth. And I also directed the second episode of the game, and I also did PR for the company.
Okay.
Phoenix.
So how does a game like this come together? Do you write the story and then at certain points design the puzzles, or is it a case of designing the puzzles and then fitting them into where you believe that they work best in the story?
A little of both. Mostly, we definitely started with the story outline. We're gonna have these 4 episodes. Here's what the plot arc of the entire game will be, and then here are these mini ones. And then from there, we had you decide, you either go from that then into writing the full script for each episode and kind of deciding all right, it's going to have these acts and here's what each one of those is going to be focused on. And then adding in, the scenes and the dialogues and the puzzles then. And certainly sometimes there's, we'll have puzzles in mind. And you're like, oh, it'd be really cool if we could do a thing like this and figure out where that's going to fit in and so forth. I'll just say the last puzzle in episode 2 was something, a puzzle in that style was something I had in mind kind of from the beginning. It's like, all right, I want it to build up to this kind of thing. And the way everyone, all things came together for its execution, I was really happy with. And there's a very complex puzzle in the middle of episode 1 that Cesar, had in mind from the beginning. That also I think came out really well.
Who found the body?
A bum found the body, but he didn't see anything.
Who interrogated him?
I heard it was Director Davies herself. You work for her, don't you? Must be quite an honor.
So Katie, how did you end up doing computer games, video games,
So I started working with Phoenix Online when we were working on Silver Lining back in 2002, actually. And for that game, since it's a freeware game and done by all volunteers, it was just kind of a lot of people who had really loved King's Quest, found this because the series had more or less ended on a very unsatisfactory note with Mask of Eternity, and we kind of wanted to make our own sequel. So this was, I just graduated college and didn't have a job and loved computer games, and I found the website and they're looking for a writer. Awesome.
Okay.
So I did that. I mean, it took us, about 8 years to release the first episode of that because a lot of it was, again, we're working in our free time and no one knew how to make a video game. So we had to figure that out. Which took a little while. Yeah, and then when we went to go commercial, I was definitely very interested in that. And at first, I was actually still working a regular full-time job. I used to work in publishing, educational publishing, textbooks and whatnot. And a few months after we actually had started full-time work for everyone on Cognition, I got laid off from that job, and I was like, oh, well, all right, sure. I'm going to go home and keep working on what I want to do.
Yeah.
So there was a...
So carry on.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Was there anything that you had planned for the game that didn't make the final version?
Yeah, actually, there were some smaller plots that had to get cut from some of the episodes, basically just because it was like, things were too long and, had to make a choice of like, all right, what's really supporting the story here and what is going to take too much time to try and set up and add in programming-wise and art-wise and everything else. So, yeah, there were some plots and scenes we had to cut from everything, or things we had to simplify. Especially after the first episode, because then it was like, all right, well, we got to definitely finish up these next ones and get them out there because people are wanting to play them and everything.
Yeah.
So...
Agent, if it was suicide, I wouldn't be
Can I ask what you're most proud of it?
I mean, really, I'm really proud of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I'm glad it came together really well. I think just everyone on our team did a great job for our first commercial game, and I think we came out really strong with this one. We actually the other day on the Adventure Gamers site. We're given the Reader's Choice Awards for a number of the Best Game, Best Story awards that they have, which was just awesome because, it was, not only is that really great, but it's kind of like, the readers are actually, the gamers really supporting it, which was fantastic. And it was just like, it's just great to know, people really enjoy, what we made and what we put together as much as we did.
Okay.
This person knew what they were doing.
And what did you find was the biggest challenge in putting it all together?
Ooh, boy. Let's see. I see for me personally, it was a lot of kind of learning more about all the departments when I was directing the second episode. Because I'm a writer and designer, and I'm not a programmer at all. I can't draw anything, and but in directing, I had to have learn more about those things, and how much time they would take and what was required, and get into the engine and actually do a little bit of the logic work and everything. So it was a lot of working, learning all of that stuff, and being able to help, make it work out and get it to put the whole thing together.
Would you have liked to have made more episodes, or do you think 4 was the perfect amount?
4 was definitely the good amount here. When we were putting together the story, that was what really came together for that was the story we wanted to tell was tellable in this amount of time.
Yeah.
We hit all the notes that we wanted to with it.
Okay. No doubt about that. He suffered a very agonizing death.
It often seems like almost a strange one to me. So it feels like either like doing 3 or doing 5 would be the more obvious ones, but we ended up on 4.
Yeah. But would you have had enough sort of material to do another episode?
Not really. As I said, there were some things that were cut from some of the episodes, but they were really like side stories that didn't necessarily add that much to it. I mean, I don't think they would have been bad or a waste of time exactly, or uninteresting, but it stayed focused on what the story was without having to have too many distractions there.
Okay.
Judy question in the chat, how do I get your job without effort? I'm not really sure how to do that one. Yeah. Just start making games is actually a pretty good suggestion.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of engines you can get out there that are for free. Adventure Game Studio, Unity actually has a free version that you can still do and everything. But yeah, I mean, the hard work is, of course, if you don't know all the programming or all the other things, it can be hard to learn or find other people to work with. But there are a lot of tools out there, so I think it's certainly easier now than it probably ever has been before to get started on making games.
Well, it's a pretty brutal crime scene, especially the description of what happened.
Yeah. We have some gruesome things in the game.
And it's not showing away from regular close-ups of a hanging man.
Yeah, he's just there.
But one of the things that's good about it is that it's not sort of gratuitous. It's not there for the sake of being there.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the episodes and scenes are a little more gruesome than others, but it's always, at least the stylized stuff. Like, we wanted it to be realistic enough without just being there to be gross or graphic.
So I've done the typical investigations, talking to everyone on the crime scene. Now it's time for the
now it's time to touch everything and ruin it.
That's it,
yeah. We actually at first
don't push the table
part
out.
of this crime scene was that you had to get like a plastic piece of plastic to like pick things up so you didn't get fingerprints on it. But between trying to like animate with it and make it look good, and then it was like, well, if we're gonna use it here, why is it never coming up again? Then finally it was just like, just drop that entirely. Fingerprinting is not an issue apparently in this universe.
I think it's one of those. People don't notice it if it's not there.
I must admit, when I've played, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah, we found that too. Only some people would notice it, but others it was kind of we put it like the TV realism of some things is what we went for.
Yeah.
No, that's such a great phrase. TV realism, spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Jack Bauer thing. Does he ever go to the bathroom? No one cares.
not in 24 hours. He doesn't. No.
No, he doesn't.
Because if everybody did everything properly all the time, it would lead to some boring scenes,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You want to keep the pace good.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the point you want.
Yeah,
Can you write up this report? No, I'm going on my lunch. See you in an hour.
Yeah, that's right.
So Phil, what's going on? This guy's been found hanging.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And she's but
just trying to find
he was hoisted up there.
This ash tray.
Right. Oh yeah,
ashtray underneath the cabinet.
It's
not ashtray. Okay.
It's not.
But it's alright. I found it anyway.
Found it.
Well, that's making it.
Oh, there's she. Now she's seeing herself there.
Yeah.
Ever since Scott died, it's slowly gotten worse and
So is it potentially
in that vision she was just having?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're probably yeah. No, this is this vision, right?
So making progress now.
Here we go.
So what is that? An ashtray?
No.
No, it's not an ashtray.
Smoking killed this man.
That's that's right.
Smoking kills people. Don't forget.
He couldn't quit, so he had to quit another way.
And it'll happen just like this.
It's an artifact. You did tell us.
Yeah.
Artifact. Ooh. Where will it go? Yeah.
So skipping ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
In the last episode, there's like a trust mechanic where there's different outcomes depending on how much people you're talking to trust you. But obviously, it only appears at the end, like the last episode. It's not throughout. Was that something that you planned from the beginning to use it at the end, or was it something that came about as the game was developed?
It came about as we were working on episode 4. So one of the things we had done is in the other episodes, in each one you learn some new powers, new variations on what she can do. And so by the time we get to that one, it was like, all right, well, we've got, all the powers have been learned here, so we don't need to introduce those. But as we were writing it, it kind of came up naturally that the conversations you had and how you answered in them were what were really important at that point. So it just fit to work a mechanic into that somehow, and to kind of give the player active feedback on what was going, like how these conversations were going, and how the people were reacting to what they said.
It certainly makes you think twice about the response you give someone.
Yeah. Yeah. So we felt at least showing something on screen kind of helped make it more than just, sort of a crapshoot where you don't quite know how effective what you're saying is. And there are also some variations on how different situations end in the 4th episode for how you talk to people.
You're playing it, Phil.
She's not going to trust you if you don't give her any details.
Any leads on the killer?
Where do you write things down, and how do you get ideas across to your team? One of the questions in the chat here I just saw. We just write in Word. But different. We use Google Docs a lot for sharing documents since we're not, centrally located, and do a lot of breakdowns, sort of with the leads of each department, as far as go through the script and identify you're going to need this kind of animation here and this kind, and these sorts of art assets, and here's what we want to happen and how we want it to work, and then you talk with the programmers about how to make that possible. And we do all of our meetings through Skype, so that's where we are all day, working on all this stuff. We've started getting better with our design process too, kind of making sort of a trick we picked up from Jane. She put together PowerPoint slide presentations or files on each scene or each character that has reference shots and descriptions of what's in the scene and what's important and what kind of mood you have there. And, here's this sort of furniture to have that's going to reflect whatever kind of mood or opinion you want the player to have visually of what's going on.
Interesting music. There's a gun there.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, one of the best things about this game is the soundtrack.
Yeah, Austin Haynes is our composer. He's won some awards for the soundtrack as well, and he just does an amazing job. And the song that plays during the credits, the end credits that you will hear eventually, is actually performed and sung by Rowley Holmes, who does Erica's voice, and Robert Holmes, her father, Jane's husband, who did the soundtracks for does the soundtracks for all of her games.
Okay.
So go ask her about it. While you're there, maybe bring up these visions of yours. What can it hurt?
Yeah, she's having this creepy vision.
Yeah.
Go now. She's a night owl. Closed in the mornings, open all night.
I like the way that each time she has this vision, you see just a little bit more of it, and it kind of fills in the pieces as it goes.
Yep, that keeps happening with it too. A little more each time.
That's good.
Oh,
who was that?
Hello, he's been watching them.
Who was that?
That would be the Cane Killer, is it?
The Cane Killer.
Yeah.
Oh, he must have the scene. I'm watching the video on here. It's a little bit behind.
Sorry.
Yeah, you do have that, panning out, and someone is watching.
It's an unfortunate thing about Twitch, but there we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
What are you going to do now? Break into his shop?
No.
Well, the FBI don't break in. They just show their badge.
They show their badge in there.
Yeah, this is Rose, who Katie was talking about earlier.
Oh, the mentor.
Ah.
I could feel the spirits were active tonight. I knew someone would appear.
Yeah, that'd be me. So, does the shop have the...
That was another fun thing I got to do with the map there. We set it in Boston, which is where I live.
Okay.
So I get to actually, I kind of like saved a Google map with different pins and different spots, and I'm like, this kind of place would be over here, and this is likely to be over here.
That's good, yeah, that's very good.
And the building design, is this antique shop kind of designed on a shop that's in and around the Boston area? Or?
No. Yeah, I mean, all the designs in that sense were original. You know, like we had a description of what we wanted the antique shop to look like, and Romano designed that around that. So there are a few locations that are based on actual ones. The cemetery she was at earlier, that gate that they opened at, that is based on an actual cemetery gate called Mount Auburn Cemetery, which was fitting because we had an image of like a cemetery with all those mausoleums, which aren't really used much in New England.
No.
But that cemetery in particular, I knew has a lot of like sort of more like monuments and statues and artistic things, sculptures and everything in it. So it made sense to have it be that one. So we had the gate area, adjusted to look like that. And there is a historical building at the end of this episode that is based entirely on a real place, and also a location in episode 2, a college that she stops by.
Okay.
So why would a toy like that appear in a crime scene last night?
I'm just noticing Erica disappears below the waist in this scene. That line didn't quite match up to the table for some reason.
Hadn't noticed.
I
did not notice.
I'm sure it was fine in some other version, but we had some amusing graphical glitches in the Steam version, which is this that one?
Yes, it's Steam.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some problems with chairs that you might notice.
We'll look at them now. So how do you go around testing things like, because there must little quirks and kind of objects falling in and out of place. There it is. Yeah,
there is.
How do you kind of test for those, especially when you're on a Kickstarter or a smaller company?
I mean, we have a QA team. Actually, one of the guys, our QA lead, was in the chat earlier, Wayne. I don't know if he's still here. And they're really great. And so we also had a lot of playtesting. When we had like an alpha build or beta build, some of our backers had pledged at the level to be involved in that. And a couple of them actually got a little more involved and QA test for us regularly. And then also, as the designers and directors, we are playtesting it all the time to coming up with notes. Oh, good, Wayne is still here. Yeah.
Well, if you ever need some future testers, I think
yes, of course.
you have a team available.
Yeah, you got a room full of them.
Always good to know. Yeah, there is just I mean, as everyone else is doing all their things, we are constantly testing it as well, and sending in bugs and getting things fixed and whatnot. So it is worth it to try and have a regular QA team.
Absolutely. And how did, because do they give you feedback on the pacing of the story and the puzzles and the but this puzzle may have felt too long, or there's too much of a gap between two puzzles, or we just felt that this dialogue scene just there was too much talking before you got to the next event.
Yeah. I mean, usually, they play looking for more specific bugs, like, click here and this thing happens, and all of a sudden this character's twisting around everywhere. But I mean, when we get to a point where we want to have that kind of feedback. Definitely, we'll get that sometimes from them, or if something stands out a lot to them, they will bring it to our attention, and it's just always good to have. And that was always one of the reasons we had the playtest sessions with our backers, because it was like having fresh eyes on it, neither the people who had written it or the people who are playing it and picking it apart all day, every day, taking a look and getting their feedback on pacing and dialogues and whatnot. So we do also get that kind of feedback from them as well.
Yeah, because I think a lot of these games, the successful failure is large about the pacing of the story, and this just seems to have it spot on, because we've been, gosh, this must have been over an hour now. We've been chatting for, but it's been great because we've been watching the game, we've been engrossed in it. It's moved along. It's just feels right, and it's a very difficult thing to kind of quantify as the feel of a game. But I think this one. Phil's been hooked.
I've been trying to persuade Phil to play this since Christmas because I knew he would be hooked.
I like the setting. The modern crime thrillers. It's really good.
We were. I often joke we so we were working on King's Quest for so long, and while we took a sort of darker turn with King's Quest than the official games had been, I think Cesar and I were both like, we just want someone who can drop some F-bombs finally. After all these years of the worst that King Graham gets is going rats all the time.
Darn it.
And also, she was dealing, with, she's got murders happening and serial killers and visions and all these other crazy things. It's like, it makes sense for this person to swear every so often.
Davey said it's only until we get out of this mess. Cutbacks and all. Wish this came with the raise, but what can you do? Anyways, if you have any requests, I can get it for you.
I'll keep that in mind.
Actually, the secretary here, Gwen, is visually based on one of our backers.
Brilliant.
A couple of the higher level ones.
How many of those were available then? How many of those?
We had, let's see, Gwen is, Terrence is another one who's based on one of our backers.
I like Terrence.
We haven't come across him yet.
Erica's dad, Brian, actually is based on my dad.
That's really good. So how did you achieve that with Gwen, especially because as a backer, so you didn't have access to her directly? I guess you had to get photos.
Yeah, basically we had them send in photos, and we had a lot of obviously side roles that we knew were going to be needed. So we have the administrative assistant here, and Terrence is kind of like the techie guy.
She was mostly talking to herself. You know how she does that. She had a similar piece or something?
Oh, let's see. The chair worked!
I must admit, this is the bit that I had problems with.
Oh. Pressure's up on this bit then.
For me, she was sitting in midair.
Oh no.
Yeah.
For me, she was facing in completely the wrong direction.
It was hilarious because, the chair stuff worked fine in everything else, and then somehow we got it up on Steam and just the chairs were all over the place.
Yeah, so was it just Steam then?
Yeah. Weirdly, the chair issue was just a Steam thing.
Okay.
Although we got some hilarious screenshots that people posted for it.
I bet.
Really funny.
It must be nice though when the community kind of joke around with you like that. Just kind of take it in good humour.
Yeah.
Had to head out to take care of some business.
Poor Sully got turned down.
Bye.
You're so horrible, Phil.
Oh, heartless.
Turned him down.
She's an independent woman now. She can't have any of this Sulliness.
The Phil was really brought into the characterisation.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I think of Sully, the character from Uncharted. He's like, nope.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah.
And gets to read emails. That's great.
I haven't spent time together in a while.
Oh yeah, there's her email from my dad.
If you'd like to rent a movie and watch it at my place this weekend.
Must be fair, Sully's opening with "Hey babe." Yeah, I'm with you, Phil. I think it's the right decision.
Don't call me babe.
Yeah, hey babe. Yeah. All right, darling. No.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Yeah,
just
see Terence, he's much more casual.
Yeah.
I haven't even met Terence and I like
Yoey.
him. Yoey, yeah, T. Yeah.
Get to a bit of, you know, what she thinks.
It's only because I signed my emails B.
Yeah, that's it. There you go.
Dad avoids visiting Scott.
Yeah, the question, Sully's constant question of lunch became a running joke.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have that, have you seen that, I forget what the name of the face is. It's the guy who says "Forever Alone." we would send pictures of that back and forth with just lunch written on it.
Yeah.
This is brilliant.
Yeah,
this level of detail, this attention to detail, again, is really important.
I have to come back. I won't bore everyone by reading through it for myself. I'll do it later.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to find the key thing to press. But unfortunately, you're going to have to wade through all the evidence to find it.
Yeah.
Oh. Search for Katie.
Type in Sully and then mess around with his record.
She doesn't quite have that level of clearance.
I'd like to ask about authenticity. How much work did you, or were you aware of, or what went into getting FBI? Get a bit authenticity.
It was again where the TV realism comes into play.
Oh, good, yeah.
You know, because a lot of the really detailed steps of obviously like gathering evidence and interrogating suspects and finding them and warrants and everything else is very, you know, be much more drawn out, and it's just like that's not going to make an interesting game.
No.
We tried to have enough that it had, you know, a little bit of that procedural flavor without dragging anything down and making it seem slower than it needed to.
In that case, what do you think of LA Noire and how they achieve their investigative sequences?
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I didn't play that myself.
No, okay.
My husband played a good portion of it, and it was. I actually had fun just watching him play because I thought it was cool. I mean, especially you know with how much work they did on the facial animation was awesome in that game.
Yeah, that was good.
So I thought they did. It was really cool, especially I mean on there, and you know in that game that really was more of you know like that was the meat of the game. Whereas you know for us it was a little more you know this overarching story and her powers and everything, and less so the day-to-day aspects of you know investigating the cases. Like the cases are important, so we did want them to be. You know, you have to do some work for it. But
stay on that page. Is Randy Pratt? I just if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names down on the left, it's Randy Pratt backwards. Is either that's part of the case, or was that a deliberate decision? Is that a backer or
that
something?
That is actually a backer's name.
Yeah.
Actually, that whole list is backers' names. A lot
superb.
of the names that you will see in places, if you look at the Wall of Honor on the opposite end of the office, is another one. The names actually on that board in front of it, the Infamous Gang, that's actually an in-joke about Infamous Quests and some of their team members.
Okay.
So those names are kind of based off of some of their screen names. We had some jokes we put in there like that. So yeah, like, and a lot of the side characters' names and so forth are also names that we got from our backers.
That's brilliant. And there you go, Randy Pratt. You've had a free shout out. Thank you very much for contributing to making this, this wonderful game.
Thank you, Randy.
John, have a lighter.
Yeah.
The guy doesn't go anywhere without that thing. A present from his dad.
What's to be important later?
Yeah. See, the thing is, I'm treating everything as suspicious now because I'm reckoning that those symbols are probably part of a secret cult or something. Like
yeah.
I've got that kind of mindset. The trust no one X-Files there.
Good morning, John.
What's so good about it?
Got like John's attitude.
Yeah, grumpy.
Yeah, you're grumpy, John. Come on.
You were an
Tell us about it.
Yeah,
She's
gone with the sarcasm.
Not his coffee. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
So yeah, he's very much the you know kind of our I got 3 days till retirement.
Yeah. Been there, done it, seen it all. Don't need any more. Yeah.
Let me tell you about this job, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can be bribed with donuts. That's my kind of police officer.
That's right.
Let's talk about Sully.
Look, I'm not good at this lovey-dovey shit. But
yeah, love it. You tell it like it is, John.
Yeah, we like his attitude.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I have fun when I'm with him. It's just I feel like I'm cheating.
You mean because of...
You know.
You got any other questions on
It's
that?
one thing when you touch a body and find details that help on a crime scene. But when someone holds your hand and you see...
So, okay, well, would you ever be tempted to revisit Erica, or is this game it for her now?
Oh, definitely. We would love to do a sequel.
Yeah.
And we talked about some plots we might do and where we might go with her next.
Okay.
So yeah, not something being actively designed right now, but is definitely something that we want to do.
Okay.
We loved her as a character. We loved the story. And certainly we've gotten great reaction and support from people who played the game. So.
Obviously, I'm not going to give anything away, but like the ending does lead for like a really interesting direction for Erica.
Cool. Yeah. We thought so. We wanted to kind of leave it a little open to what we might do next.
Yeah.
Keep a copy of Davy's office
Yeah.
keys? No?
Why?
Sneaky.
Sully said something to me that has me thinking.
Getting the office
Something
key.
about Davy's knowing about the antique.
We might need to get him 2 donuts.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him some chips from the
Machine, yeah.
We call them crisps here.
Yeah, it sounds really. It'd be brilliant. I'll tell you what. I'd love to be able to buy chips from a machine over here.
Full of what is it called? Favitos, I think, is the fake chips we came up with.
Yeah,
we get some.
Yeah, but see, that's the, you don't. When you're playing games, and you're not trying to review them or think about them outside of kind of what they are, but the level of thought that has to go, you have to have a name on the back of the television monitor, you have to, or the computer monitor, you have to have a brand of crisps that isn't infringing some copyright. Do you know what I mean? I think those are the really tiny touches that actually really, they make the world just seem that much more of a believable and more involved place.
Meanwhile, you'll be here guarding the
Thank you.
donuts.
Oh, you're welcome. The guys will tell you when attention to detail is my I love it. I love it. If I see it in a game, I'm like, that's it. I'm sold.
Yeah, I also like that picture in the background with the guy looking at the pyramid. Is that based on a real painting or not?
I don't think so. I'm trying to. Oh, that picture. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it's just one that was, put in by the artists. There are a couple of background posters and things in other scenes that are kind of done intentionally. And usually they'll at least get a unique line if we design them with something in mind.
Okay.
I don't think the painting back there in particular was any conscious choice.
Oh, fair enough. This is just it really sort of stands out.
You know what pisses me off? Not that I haven't caught the killer or the Davies.
Yeah, there was a Scarlet Fury
There may be another pair of
in the
innocent
crime
suckers
scene.
out there.
There was a Scarlet Furies poster, which Erica was very excited to see. That one was intentional, yes.
The guy was on fire last time anyone
Kind of our way of doing a little plug.
Yeah.
In any case, stop the whine. Go do some work. You will find better than that.
Yeah.
I like having the choice now to visit one of 3 at the moment, 3 options to visit places. And if maybe you could say you have to do all of them to progress, but it's nice just to have the choice instead of being led through this tunnel, So I know I can drive anywhere. Oh.
Yeah, we wanted to have at least a little bit of options as to like what order you would do things in.
To shoot the vending machine.
You can't shoot the vending machine, Phil. I don't think they'll let you do that.
Isn't that called a desk pop?
Yeah.
I've seen the films. I know that.
I need some money, so you know what? Let's see if Sully will give me some money.
Yeah. Bat your eyelids at Sully. Get some money.
Can you buy me some chips?
Okay, fine.
He's been spurned now, Phil.
Oh, my desk?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I said my desk, that's how immersed I am.
Yeah.
It's good. Oh yeah, I see. Right, okay.
There we go.
Oh, she's gone.
Hey.
She's disappeared.
You'll see what we're laughing at in a sec.
Oh, okay. This will be fun. Wait for the screen to catch up. Right now, she's still not talking to Sully.
This is the anticipation of when you get to that point.
Hang on, Phil. We're watching the feed now.
We were desk, so guessing it has something to do with the chair.
Impressive.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Brilliant.
And that is how you chair.
Yeah.
Why was the problems just on Steam then?
I'm not really sure. Wilden, who is over in the chat, might be able to tell you more about why that was a problem on Steam. I have no idea, but it's kind of hilarious. Yeah, like now she's getting up.
It's basically the way they deliver the files.
Of the air.
Gets corrupted and stuff. Right. I need a key to yeah.
I'm going to have to be creative if I want to get in there.
Let's have a look at some of his dates. I forgot what was said about the key.
Have you bought him his crisps?
Yeah. No, she's not interested at the moment. It's fine.
Okay.
So it's just
good balanced diet. It's good. No chips rubbish. We were talking about a key earlier with John, but I've completely forgotten what was said about it.
I thought.
Key for the boss's office.
Yeah.
McCoy?
Red?
Yeah, I like it.
Oh no, I can't.
I'm going to go back to my work.
Go get him, Red.
Yeah, go get him, Phil.
Yeah.
But first, buy some crisps.
Cognition episode 1: The Search for More Crisps.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's see if she's hungry. Hang on. Let's see. Is she hungry?
Yeah, I'll pass.
No, it's not.
Sunshine for
Fajitos.
Fajitos, yeah.
Let's go driving then.
Yeah. Well, maybe go back to the crime scene because they needed to wait for it to clear.
Well,
so
let's
check
check
the
this
graffiti.
out.
Some shout outs to some backers.
The Wall of Honour.
Wall of Honour we're at now. Checking out some names.
So these all are real names?
Yeah, they're real backers.
All backers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I think you're probably on the Wall of Honor now, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Feel bad for missing out.
There's one space left, bottom right.
Bottom right.
There you go.
There'll be a
Get your
patch.
checkbook out.
There'll be a patch coming.
Yeah.
That's a one up. There we go. Right.
Trophy case.
It is kind of funny. Something we didn't fill in that bottom spot.
I see. Yeah.
To be determined later.
That's right.
Yep, those are all some more backers there.
Nice.
Great. Yeah, we like stuff like that. It's really, good.
Yeah, it was fun working them in and challenging in some places. It was definitely I think when we got to episode 4, it was like, all right, you go through this list and see who we didn't get, just in case we missed one.
Yeah. Did you have any brainstorming, or were you including the brainstorm about those kind of ideas? What you could offer, within the game? Obviously, you chose player models.
Yeah, we did a lot of planning and researching for what we'd have on the different tiers.
That's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, because we wanted to make sure it was like stuff that we could offer that was interesting, especially when you get to the higher tiers. It's like you want to have the get a copy of the game at a fairly a lower price so that more people can get that. And then you get up to the higher ones. It's like, all right, we don't want to bankrupt ourselves adding a lot of material things.
Yeah,
no, of course.
But we wanted them to be interesting. So we had things where it was like get your name in the game. Have a character modeled after you. Be on the team mailing list so that you get the inside look on development. I actually only very recently finally finished packing up and mailing out all of the backer rewards, which took over my little home office here for a number of few months. With so much tape.
Yeah.
Putting all those together.
Have you been to the morgue yet, Phil?
No, that came up. I was just wanting to do the graffiti because she wanted.
Don't need to go up.
Maybe you need to go to the morgue.
Why do you think I'm telling you?
No.
So maybe you need to go to the morgue.
No, I want to
go to the morgue, Phil.
Hang on,
I'd say.
I come here for the graffiti because she said I'll come back when it's quiet. So I'll come for the graffiti. Now we'll go. If I can think, let's do it.
Yeah, it must be ladder out.
She's having issues. Interference.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The pipes go to other areas of the building.
There's a question on chat, which is what was involved in porting the game to Steam?
Again, Will can probably give you some more details, but mostly it's just they have their kind of like the Steam wrapper, like a program that you need to kind of add to it. So you don't need to do a lot of work, but in that like the Steam wrapper program is what allows you to add in things like achievements and whatnot. So there is some more programming in that side. You have to add in the triggers for what the achievements are and so forth.
That's terrible.
But it is not that difficult to work with, from what I understand.
No.
They can correct me if I'm completely wrong.
Any luck identifying a guy?
All the DNA strands I found.
Obviously, it can have some adverse effects on chairs.
Yeah, of course.
This guy was clean, and I always find something.
So they knew exactly what they were doing. What about our John Doe?
It'll take a few days. You know how these things are.
You'd think they'd come up with something faster. Call me if something comes up.
And we had some fun with her more at ease banter with Terrence here.
Yeah.
So, how's life at the morgue?
It ain't too different from when I had a team. No one speaks much. Only difference is that our zombies preferred to be in.
Okay, well, would you ever consider doing an original story with different characters, but in this style?
I keep getting
The style being like the graphical style?
Yeah.
With the same.
Oh yeah. I mean, we loved the style. I think it works great. And it's obviously a popular one. There are a lot of other games that have used it and are using it. Yeah, I think it worked really well for this kind of story too. Just like it helped give it that you could add atmosphere with color variations and different tints to each room and everything. Without having to worry about it like looking less realistic.
Yeah.
And you can have some of the more violent or gruesome aspects, but it's stylized so it's not like too visceral.
That's it. Yeah.
I found something on that antique piece from last night.
Spill the beans.
Got the lockpick now. Doesn't have to buy any crisps.
That's it.
But it's been modified.
So it wasn't something that was just laying around.
That's a Sully.
No.
Mentioned that.
Very intentionally left there.
Something in there.
I won't confiscate it then. See what you can do with it.
Goodbye.
See you later.
See you later. Like it.
There's little animations they have for that.
Yeah.
Forensics here. I guess Gallagher doesn't really need a secretary.
Ooh.
I wonder if they fired Susie, her last receptionist.
Elevator.
Are there any more questions from people on chat at the moment?
Yeah, we'll open it up for a minute.
Yeah, because I think
have a good old type viewers.
Yeah.
Tell us.
because Casey and the team have been very, very kind in giving us their time.
Absolutely.
Oh, gladly.
Yeah, it's been an absolute honour.
It's been a blast as well. It really has.
It's been really fun.
Yeah.
Those phones are definitely based on real life because I've got one at my desk at work.
Yeah, they definitely look a lot like the classic Cisco phone.
Yeah, very modern stuff. Yeah. The phone plugged into a keyboard, which is nice.
Yeah.
The direct number for her office down
here.
We had our other doses of not ending up with a mature for M rating by having dead bodies that have clothes on.
That's
It's funny, isn't it? Because you can swear till the cows come home, but and have people hanging from whatnot. But the moment you have some clothes off a dead body, whoa.
Yeah, that's
there you go. Yeah. Senses go mad.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think we didn't do ESRB rating for this for anything because there's a lot more involved in that. And it was just kind of like it wasn't really worth bothering.
No, I can imagine.
But we always used to tell people it's kind of an M for mature game. Probably not suited unless you're just gonna walk up and over that body.
Yeah.
I saw that part.
Fantastic. Okay.
Anytime someone kind of asks me, I'm like, if they when we've showed it at a couple conventions or festivals, and parents ever come by with their kids, and I'm like, just so you know, there's some swearing and some blood here, so I appreciate you stopping by, but this may not be the best one for having your 10-year-old play.
No. Well, I think just to kind of round things up on the subject of conventions and whatnot. There's a couple in the UK every year. Certainly, Resden, Eurogamer Expo at the end of the year. Are you any plans to come over here and appear at those?
Not ones at the moment. I mean, we'd love to. We always love to, get to more conventions, and it's especially the abroad ones. What is it? Gamescom. I know it's the one in Germany that we've kind of talked a lot about because that's very big especially for adventure games.
You can always come and hang out on the sofa with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? We're going to be at GDC next month. So
cool, yeah. Good luck. I hope it goes well.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I last went 2 years ago and didn't go last year, and felt like everyone was having fun without me. So. So I'm excited to go like that, and we're going to be showing off a lot of the the games that we're publishing that we just announced to people. Okay. So it'll be a good time.
We will definitely keep an eye out for
absolutely.
Thank you.
So and thank you. I think.
Yeah, thanks for giving us your time.
Thank you very much, Katie. Thank you.
Yeah, again, thanks for having me, guys, and thank you, Kevin, for
thank you very much, Kevin, for arranging it.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
We'll be here without it. So we're gonna wrap it up here. So I'm gonna leave it at this scene because I think that's gonna be a zombie there. It's gonna get up and take over the place. But I'm hoping. So. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Katie.
Right, thanks, guys. Thank
you.
Thank you, and thank you to everyone on the chat as well from the team and people asking the questions. Thanks, been really good of you.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Okay,
thank you, Kate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hopefully speak later another time. Cheers.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye, Kevin.
Thank you,
Kevin. Bye, Kevin.
Cheers. Bye.
Well, there we go.
There you go.
That was brilliant.
That's brilliant.
That was really brilliant.
I like that.
If you're still listening to us, thank you again and again and again. That was
thank you very much, Katie. Thank you.